here at Brands Hatch, and the Garden of England has turned very gloomy in the last half an hour. This really began to set in. It set in time to bring an early end to the Triple Triumph Challenge prior to this, and John Hopkins wandering around at the back, possibly just wandering off the track for a moment and then coming back onto it. And of course, what they can do on this, well, all they can do on this lap is try and get a feel for just how treacherously slippy it is, James.
Yeah, and you know, it's just those conditions where it's gloomy and kind of, it's not, if it looks foggy on some of those shots from some camera positions, but it isn't. It's just gloomy and really heavy damp, like you say. But what I can tell you is, just walking across the grid to get to the riders, it's slippy underfoot. It really is. It's just not going to be a lot of grip, and like you say, they've got one lap to actually figure out where the grip is.
These are the standings after 23 of 26 dramatic races in the MCE Insurance British Superbike Championship of 2014. Shaky Byrne leads by 12 points from Yuichi Kiyanari, who is not taking part in this race. Josh Brooks leads the battle for third place by 2 points from his Milwaukee Yamaha teammate Tommy Bridewell, with Dan Linfoot just a further 4 points adrift for Quattro Plant Kawasaki. Chris Walker sixth. Stuart Easton leads the battle for the Rider of the Year, is in seventh place ahead of James Ellison, who's very keen to get himself that first victory. He's qualified on pole. Josh Waters and John Hopkins round out the top 10. In 11th place, Peter Hickman ahead of John Kirkham and James Westmoreland, with Jakob Smertz in 14th place. Richard Cooper still out, is 15th ahead of Patrick Muff, Michael Rutter, Mainwaring Smart, Julian Da Costa looking impressive for Honda, and Ben Wilson. The rain now visibly beginning to pour down. James Ellison has put himself on pole position at last ahead of Shane Byrne and Josh Brooks. John Kirkham on row 2 ahead of John Hopkins and Tommy Bridewell. Peter Hickman, Dan Linfoot and Julian Da Costa on row 3. Row 4, Gary Mason, he could win this. Chris Walker and Howie Mainwaring Smart. Behind them we've got Stuart Easton, Jakob Smertz, Westmoreland, Waters. Keep an eye out for him on row 6. Eighteen very damp laps ahead of the riders here at Brands Hatch. The first of 3 races for the British Superbike Championship. Oh, and a messy start for almost everybody except Ellison, who got away fairly cleanly, but Shaky Byrne, who seemed to hesitate off the line, somehow picked himself back up and made it to the first turn in the lead. Josh Brooks trying to squeeze through on the inside of Ellison. Yeah, just to get around the first few turns is what you'd be looking to do, just to keep out of trouble till the field's strung out a little bit and you can find yourself a little bit of space. Linfoot squeezed up on the inside there through to 4th place. He was feeling very insecure with the front forks of the bike earlier, and he just didn't feel comfortable on the bike, but there was some work done on the forks in between qualifying and this race. He's looking a little more comfortable now, perhaps. Yeah, well, maybe with this weight you're not pushing the forks as hard. Maybe that problem's gone away anyway a little bit because of conditions. So he's running in 4th place behind Ellison, behind Brooks, behind Shaky Byrne. This is the first lap of 18. That front 4 just opening up a slight gap over Tommy Bridewell running in 5th place. And already Linfoot has cut his way through into 3rd place, so the North Yorkshireman looking confident. Whoops! Tommy Bridewell gets nudged aside by Kirkham at the end of the Minter Straight. Yeah, and it's this portion of the track, the Sheen curve and down to Stirling's, where there's quite a lot of patches. They're quite smooth, but over every single edge you've got a scanty. You can see in there just in the middle of the shot, you've got like a sealer strip and a little bit of overbanding where it tends to be quite slippy when it's conditions like this. James Ellison didn't look as if he was overly much enjoying the prospect of this race, and certainly he's being clipped back down the field at the moment. He's back to 5th place now of pole position. So completing the first lap of 18, Shaky Byrne leads the way. The man who leads the championship by 12 points leads the race. Dan Linfoot having a peep underneath Josh Brooks. Brooks won't let him through. Yeah. You just get the feeling there that if Dan Linfoot would have just left the brakes off slightly longer, and you know, in a position like that, you've just got to sometimes just go and run the rider a little bit wide and not allow him back around the outside, but it's early days yet. So Byrne, Brooks, Linfoot, Tommy Bridewell, they are the men who've just broken slightly clear at the moment. We can see progress being made back downfield by Josh Waters. He's in his, riding his 50th BSB race already here today.
Yeah, nice kind of outside to clip a late apex, and a good slingshot onto the back straight for Josh Brooks. Really lovely was that.
Shaky Byrne is breaking away from this. He's got himself a little bit of a gap here as once again Dan Linfoot has a look. And up to Hawthorne Bend, across over Foreland.
That looks
Backlund.
Like it is Backlund, yeah.
Philip Backlund, who excelled in the damp conditions at Assen. The Swede has crashed the FFX Yamaha, looks thoroughly put out, possibly with somebody else.
And that's at Surtees. It's difficult to understand or figure out how he's ended up where he's ended up. He's right on the inside, which doesn't tend to happen when you crash a bike. It always tends to go outside. Linfoot right in the back wheel of Shane Byrne now.
And Linfoot has his second sector on this lap, James, as fastest of the day so far. So Linfoot, who said, James, he was telling me before he went to get changed for this race that he's now feeling confident enough that he feels he ought to be able to run at the front and challenge for race wins and even ultimately for a championship.
And
so,
do you know, we've seen that Linfoot's been really good all year, really safe, and this is the Backlund incident. It's going to come round, it's going to keep going round, it must do. Oh no, he's running the back of somebody, that's what's happened there. Yeah, well, we said that was a weird crash to have ended up on the inside where he did, so that was, clipped the back of somebody.
Oh, what had happened to that bike in front of him, James?
I think he was sitting up, I think it was Ingram, and I think he was sitting up, or maybe Zanotti, sitting up to miss somebody else, I think.
The third lap of 18 here at Brands Hatch, the first of 3 MCE Insurance British Superbike races of this weekend. And Shaky Byrne leads the way. He's going to try and clinch this championship in style here at his home track, the track he first raced on as an 18-year-old.
It must have been Ingram that Backlund clipped the back of at Surtees, because I don't think...
It stopped.
Yeah,
it was a technical problem on the Morello Kawasaki that stopped him.
Yeah, well,
Linfoot,
here we go.
Just squeezes through into Westfield, neat as you like on the Quattro plant bike.
And remember, Shane Byrne obviously knows that Yuichi Kinari is taking no part in this race. He will not want to fall off, but we've seen before that Shane Byrne still wants to win races, but I just cannot see Shane Byrne sticking his neck out too far in the sort of championship situations that we've got. That's Martin Jessup.
So Martin Jessup also out of this race.
Well, he made a mess of his bike this morning, so possibly a problem with putting that back together, or, you know, something they've just missed, or was it always a possibility.
As they cross the line, this is it. After 3 laps, Shaky Byrne is just behind Dan Linfoot. Bridewell is now ahead of Brooks. Kirkham up to 5th place. Easton is 6th. Josh Waters has marched up to 7th place. Gary Mason, who I thought would be in the reckoning, is in 8th, ahead of James Ellison. Peter Hickman, Wayne May wearing smart. Oh dear.
Get up the inside there, lad. That's Josh Waters. I don't know what happens to Waters in these conditions, but it certainly brings him round a bit. You don't want to be splashing water about his face even in the dry. That might just work.
Well, he was, when there was a very, very slight drizzle, and I saw him outside in pit lane there, he was saying, no, it's not enough yet. It doesn't feel wet.
It's enough now.
It is now.
It's going mad.
And he set the fastest lap, 1:38.548. So Waters, breaking his way through, is now ahead of Josh Brooks and chasing down the front 3.
Yeah, we talked about Dan Linfoot ready for wins, and it's taking its time coming, in my opinion. You know, he looked really good at the beginning of this season. He's not made any mistakes. He hasn't thrown himself up the road. Don't want to jinx what's happening on track now, but certainly he's ready for getting up there and winning races. He knows he can run with the fast men. He knows full well, he's known this all season really, and in the showdown I know he's had issues. He said he hadn't felt confident with the front end. There's been other things that have held him back a little bit, but I would have loved to see him just, no, I can't say sticking his neck out a bit more, but just pushing a bit more in the showdown. But you know, it's difficult sometimes when you're sat on the bike, but certainly Linfoot is ready for a win at some point.
The battle for 6th place, James Ellison, number 77 there, as they drop down through clearways into the Clark curve. Number 101, Gary Mason, is the man, a 35-year-old coming out of retirement from the lad from Lichfield, is involved in that. But Howie Mainwaring Smart has got the better of Mason. Now he's in 9th place, just behind Ellison. Brooks running in 7th place.
Chris Walker clips up the inside of DaCosta cleanly. I don't know what's happened to Walker. You would expect, whether he's had a mishap first couple of laps, he's going fairly well now and moving away from the people. He's passing every time he passes them, but you'd expect him to be a bit further forward than 15th in conditions like this.
Dan Linfoot, number 4, leads the way. Oh, and goes in deep, loses the front end for a moment, and Surtees has to pull it back again.
Well deep.
Shaky burn on the racing line.
You're getting to know your stuff now, Jack. You spotted that straight away.
It's taken a while. On the 5th lap of 18, we've got Dan Linfoot leading from Shaky Burn. Tommy Bridewell riding strongly in 3rd place, ahead of Josh Waters and John Kirkham.
If you get a chance, just look how quick these bikes dive at the front. You can tell the riders that's got the wet settings, especially on the forks, because when they hit the brakes, bang, it was almost straight through the stroke. Every bit as quick as it will in the dry, and you've nowhere near as much grip as you have in the dry. The reason is they put softest fork springs in just to get the movement back.
Ben Wilson on the gear link. Kawasaki coming under some sort of pressure now from James Westmoreland's build-based BMW. Right behind the pair of them is Chris Walker on his GB Motors Kawasaki.
Not for long, and I'm fairly convinced that something's happened that first couple of laps to Chris Walker, because he's going quicker than the riders around him.
The completion of the 5th lap has Linfoot leading by 0.267 of a second over number 67, Shaky Burn. So Chris Walker takes the tight line, and that will work into Paddock Hill Bend inside James Westmoreland. That will nick him 13th place.
Yeah, he got a little bit of a slide mid-corner in Walker, though, and Westmoreland's nipped back up the inside of him.
The aggressive style of Lincolnshireman Ben Wilson there in green and orange, having a bit of moment as he plunges downhill towards Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, remember these bikes, no traction control, controlled ECUs, which means coming out of the corner, especially at a place where it's downhill and greasy like this, like Druids, all the thing that's stopping that bike just spinning completely out of control, which is so easy with this much power, is just the rider's right hand. That's all they can do, just ease the power on so it doesn't go out of control.
Fastest lap of the race, the man in 8th place, Howie Mainwaring Smart, number 43, 1:37.926.
I tell you what, he's really, really, really good in these conditions. He was quickest in a couple of the damp practice sessions that we've had this weekend.
He's told me that since he came to live down here, he's actually got quite fond of Brands Hatch, James. It's kind of taken over as his favourite circuit from Alton Park.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's a closer up. He's a Cheshireman originally, is he?
Yes, Ellesmere Port, same place as Jenny Tinmouth, who is currently, where is she, in 22nd place, I mean, on the TWR Honda, just behind Jen Metcher, and ahead of Christophe Ponson on the Bimotor. Here's a move from Josh Waters. He now has shifted the Taiko Suzuki through into 3rd place. Josh Waters, a man who doesn't know what he's going to be doing next year yet. Philip Neal hasn't had a word with him about staying at Taiko Suzuki.
I will. That's his teammate. Yeah.
Well, what a terrible season Hopper's had.
Yeah, I think probably conditions got a lot to do with that. But we're talking about Josh Waters, Hopkins' teammate. He won't be thinking about what he's doing next year right now. He'll have his mind just completely packed.
On repeating his 2nd race win from here in wet conditions in July.
He's my tip. I easily think he can win that. I think he can win that from where he is now. No problem.
So Dan Linfoot still holds the advantage for Quattro Plant Kawasaki ahead of Shaky Burn. Here's John Kirkham. Do you know, there are certain guys, when you get guys who are this consistent, like Shaky Burn, whether rain or shine, that man is running.
He's got to be somewhere. Yeah. That's the mark of a really good rider. Any condition, any track. They'll learn tracks really quickly. They'll not have a bogey track. They'll just be able to go well everywhere. They can set the bike up fairly quick. And Shane Byrne is class in that respect.
So look at this, it's tightening up at the front. We've got Linfoot, Byrne, Waters, Bridewell, Kirkham. I beg your pardon, Kirkham ahead of Bridewell. And these are the 5 men fighting for... Oh, now goes Shaky Burne's crashed.
Yeah.
Byrne drops it, coming through the Clark curve. He is out of this race. Would you believe it? His championship lead will remain at 12 points come tomorrow. Well, if you're watching this at home, Yuichi Kia, I beg your pardon, in your hotel room, Yuichi Kianari, Kyo, you've got to try and get yourself on track tomorrow.
Well, look at this. This is kind of looks like. Let's have a look. Ria first, and he tried to cling on, and he was lucky he didn't eyesight him, to be honest. And he's looking behind him already, just looking where he's sliding. Good presence of mind, that, because he won't want to get in the path of anybody else. He tried to save that. And that's probably 20 yards of a kind of almost save. You know, when it was going, he was trying to get it back, steered into the slide straight away. It didn't come back.
Josh Waters did well to avoid it, but of course it's cost him a couple of places. He's now back to 4th. So Linfoot, Bridewell, Kirkham, Waters lead the way, and that man trudges back to the pits.
We always say with this job, you just cannot tell. No script.
We're back to ifs and buts. If Yuichi Kiyanari had been in the race, what on earth would be happening now?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So Linfoot, Bridewell, Kirkham, Waters. At the moment, Shaky Byrne on 6.32, 620 points Kiyanari. Linfoot, of course, having the ride of his season so far, would now be handsomely into 3rd place in the championship. Well, handsomely, a point ahead of Thomas George Bridewell, and also, of course, ahead of Josh Brooks, who has never been out of the top 5 in any championship he's competed in since 2008, when he was 3rd in the World Super Sport Series.
And I'll tell you what, Man Wearing Smart has got some real pace down there.
Yes, he's now 5th. Hey, anything could happen here. Dan Linfoot is now, after other people got slightly impeded, Linfoot has got a lead of 1.8 seconds. Josh Waters on the blue and white Taiko Suzuki once again attacking the Yamaha and the Kawasaki in front of him, and he coming up the inside now of Tommy Bridewell. Just like that, and he makes it look easy.
He does, and he never missed the apex, got it in on time, and just clean and no sliding, and just looks settled. In these conditions, Jack, it's about being smooth and having just feel for how much grip you've got and where you've got it. And Josh Waters has got it in bags. He's got enough feel for the wet for 2 or 3 riders there. This is, again, don't want to speak to some, but you don't see him make a mistake. Doesn't hit the white lines, doesn't run wide, doesn't get the power on early and push coming out of corners. Just everything's controlled. This is a real kind of skill.
And you mentioned Howie Mainwaring Smart. There's Paul Smart's brother-in-law right on the back wheel now of Tommy Bridewell in 4th place.
No, it's his son-in-law, I think, you'll find.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. I was thinking of Scott Smart. Sorry, boys. Paul Smart's son-in-law, beg your pardon. Anyway, back to Shaky Byrne, trudging his way back to the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki garage, while Josh Waters gets a bit of his own treatment there from the household biker gear Kawasaki of all 6'3" of John Kirkham.
Howie Mainwaring Smart is the danger man here, I can tell you. Lap on lap he's been quicker than anybody else. He's got a little bit of work to do now. John Kirkham, he's got to get past. And John Kirkham's brilliant in these conditions. We've seen him win VSB races in these conditions.
It's amazing who pops up in this when things get like this. Howie Mainwaring Smart looking so comfortable. Yep. And he, remember, is Dan Linfoot's teammate, Quattro Plant Kawasaki. And now they'll have Pete Exton's newly crowned granddad bouncing up and down in his garage now. 1st and 3rd for Kawasaki, for Quattro Plant Kawasaki.
Yep, ran a little bit wide there, did Howie.
Yeah, just calm yourself down, son.
And that is one of the problems, you know. He'd be in his head, counting how many laps he's left, looking at his lap signals, just thinking, right. And what he'll also be doing is looking at where Dan Linfoot is and where he disappears out of view, and then next lap will be seen, right, has he disappeared quicker or earlier? Am I getting closer? Am I getting closer quick enough to make a bit of a run for a win here?
On the 10th lap of 18, not even yet at 2/3 race distance, and this is a pretty tense race we've got here. Linfoot leading Waters, Mainwaring Smart and Kirkham.
One of the things that Linfoot's crew will be doing is just keeping across that gap, and they've got to be really careful of Linfoot's crew not to give him too much information. If you panic your rider, especially in these conditions, there's somebody, you know, if you give him one of them, oh, you're getting caught, it's so easy to see a man chuck it upside down, you know, and probably needlessly, you know. So you've got to be just careful how much information you release, you know.
As they complete the 10th lap of 18, Linfoot is lead just perhaps shrinking slightly, but only fractionally as they cross the line. 1.7 last time, 1.7 again. I was wrong. Waters, Mainwaring Smart right behind.
No, it's come down by a second that last lap. 39.7 for Linfoot. Sorry, 38.7 for Waters.
And this is the battle between Stuart Easton and Josh Brooks. Brooks running in 6th place there on the red and black Yamaha. Behind these two, we've got James Ellison, Gary Mason, James Westmoreland, Chris Walker, the rest of the point scorers, Wilson, Hickman and Jakob Smerts, Julian Da Costa back into the top 15, and Brian Starring having a decent ride in 16th place for the WD-40 Kawasaki team, the 27-year-old Australian.
Now back at the front, and look at this. There's Linford, there's Waters right behind him on the Suzuki.
Now it has got tight. Josh Waters, we've seen how really tidy his passes are. He's just looking for a way to quickly snip his way past the number 4 Kawasaki.
Yeah, and Josh Waters, knowing his prowess in the wet, especially around this place, we've seen it before, will be wanting to get past as soon as he can and keep that momentum going, keep that feel going. You know, sometimes these conditions, it's easier to keep going at a good pace than it is to try and slow down when you get a big gap. You can make a mistake a lot easier when you slow down sometimes.
Linfoot's been impressively comfortable running at the front, James.
And that's a difficult place to be in these conditions, I tell you. It really is.
Here comes Howie.
Wearing Smart.
Howie Main wearing Smart does the rain man. And now we've got Quattro Plant Kawasaki's running 1 and 2. Wow. Well, this is anything can happen in this. Oh, and here comes Howie trying to take a look underneath. Straight away he goes through. And the two Kawasaki swap places onto lap 12. And would you believe, the man originally the engineer and well, truck maintenance specialist and mechanic from just about 6 miles up the road here from Brands Hatch, originally from Cheshire, leads the race. Howie Main wearing Smart leads it. Second for Linfoot, third Waters. This is the fastest lap qualification. Main wearing Smart would start on pole ahead of Waters and Kirkham. Linfoot, Bridewell and Byrne on the second row. Well,
talk about coming from nowhere. This is a proper Cinderella story, this, for Howie Main wearing Smart. And I'm not going to say Howie Main wearing Smart. Double barrel names don't work. It's Howie Main wearing for me for the rest of this race. That's what he was christened as. That's what I'm going with. But this is some ride for the boy. This is from absolutely nowhere. And do not be fooled into thinking it's the conditions that made it. Maybe it did, but you have to go quicker than anybody else and stop on your bike in these conditions. That's brilliant.
Oh, and Dan's thinking, what, my teammate going past me, and he's having a nibble back.
And I've got to say, if I was in Dan Linfoot's position, I'd be thinking, right, there's two races left after this. This is probably my best chance of winning a race this year. I'm going to stick my neck out here. I'm going to go with him and see if I can make a pass on the last lap. And that's what I would definitely be doing. Even if it risks a crash, I'd be getting stuck in and following Howie Main at whatever pace that is.
Me and Scott Smart, his brother-in-law, were having a little laugh at the gangling Howie as he wandered off down the kind of the paddock at the back of the pits. He's a very engaging, loose-limbed kind of character, Howie, and he's always threatened to do something, hasn't he? And this could be the moment where the threat actually comes good.
Yeah, and this is Ralph Laturco, I think. He's keeping that away. Good lad. Yeah, just leaves him enough space. Look, he's getting on with his own race. He's figuring out who's doing what. He's looking, he's seen there's a gap, and now he can get on with his race.
Jenny Tinmouth running 18th ahead of Jed Metcher, Christophe Ponsong and Ralph Laturco. That's impressive. So we've got both the Ellesmere Port chapter running very, very strongly in this race.
And it doesn't, to me, look like Dan Linfoot has the pace to go with Howie Main wearing. And you've got to make that call. You know, it's a difficult one. Sometimes when somebody comes past you can raise your game a little bit. And I know that Dan's trying, but just seen him run wide a couple of times. And yeah, it's easy for me to sit here and say, stick your neck out, lad, go with him. But it's a different kettle of fish on the bike. You know,
and necks don't stick out much further, of course, than Howie's. He's a long-necked lad. He's a gangling, look at that. He rises up from behind the screen.
Am I dreaming this, or am I remembering that his job once was a male stripper?
He does reluctantly own up to this, yes.
Does it?
Yeah, he does.
I didn't think that.
He prefers it now that he's a respectable married man and
artistic dancer.
He prefers it not to be referred to, but you've let the cat out of the bag once again.
Well, let's go with artistic dancer then, of a sexual nature.
Well, what I've got is, you're right actually, James, on my old Howie Main wearing Smart sheet, I have part-time model stripper as well as engineer.
We'll go with that then.
We're on the 14th lap of 18, and Howie Main wearing Smart leads the way.
Dan Linfoot's out the seat, that cost him a lot of time.
Given Josh Waters a chance to tuck underneath, but he doesn't quite make it stick. Oh, but Linfoot's wide again. He pulls it back.
I just get the feeling that Linfoot's pushing quite hard here, but He's also had a lot of stickability as Dan this year. He's been able to ride close to the limit in all conditions and not chuck it up the road, and that's what he's doing here. Josh Waters looks a lot more settled. You see a lot more movement from the bike of Dan Limpert. You just get the impression that if Josh Waters could somehow sneak past Dan Limpert, that he'd be the man who had the best chance of going with Howie Mainwaring. Good ride from Howie, though. Brilliant.
Limpert's riding a sterling rearguard action, the way he's fending off Waters here.
Brilliant race. Now, he's not doing that to give his teammate the best chance of winning. In fact, the last thing that Limpert will want is his teammate winning, because you just wouldn't. But you just think that Limpert is trying really hard, and like I said, there's no shame in that.
I'm trying to remember the last time that Howie Mainwaring won a race, James, and I think it was Alton Park 2007, National Superstock 1000 on an MV Augusta. I really think that might be, and that would be 7 years ago in my calculation.
I'll take your word for it. There's certainly never a point when he's been anywhere near winning a BSB race. Good though he is, you know, he's been in a position where he's probably not had the best bike on the grid, but in conditions other than normally, not in really wet conditions, he's normally at his best in anywhere in between, like damp patches, tyre choice, risky conditions.
That was Pete Exton's bouncing around like a little rubber ball in the pit lane. But Howie was fastest in sketchy conditions this morning.
That's a back marker going off.
But I think Waters got the drive up the hill. Dan has to, and Dan loses the back, glances to his right, sees Waters there, slithers his way to Druids. Now Waters through into second place. Can he do anything about Mainwaring smart?
Now Limpert, what he's got to do is try and keep out the clutches of John Kirkham. John is having a few slides. I've seen him coming out of corners. It's just sliding around a little bit, and I think he's had the best out of his rear tyre, John Kirkham.
Howie's just set the fastest lap of the race, James, 1:37.294.
Wait until the next couple of laps, because if Waters can do anything, it will be this next 2 laps, because he will be setting about his task now. How many laps left? Have you seen anyway? Oh, 15 of 18. That'll be on the screen then. He hasn't got long left, has he?
And we've got, and I think Matt has caught up with Shaky Byrne. Matt, over to you.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah. Shane, I'm sure very frustrated and disappointed with how race 1 went here. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, you know, it's so difficult because I sat there in second place. I was actually happy that Dan was leading, to be fair, because then there's no pressure on me. You know, I thought, well, I'll just sit there and watch the gap behind me, see who's behind me, and yeah, it was just quite contently sat in second. But you know, you come into clearways. Had a similar situation in August in the wet qualifying in August when loads of us fell down.
It's got way wide.
You know, nothing any different, and then the next thing you're on your ear and you think, I was sliding through the gravel actually thinking, how did that just happen? I've done nothing different. Why? But you know, it is what it is. It's a British Championship, and whilst I want all 3 races to be dry and to try and win them in the dry, there's going to be rain too.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks.
The battle is on the 16th of 18 laps. Josh Waters, fastest lap of the race, 1:37.14. Right on the back wheel now of Howie Mainwaring smart. This, you couldn't script right this.
You knew that, Jack, or I could certainly see it, that he was champing at the bit to get past Dan Limpert. Once he had, then he's got a bit of clear track, and not only a clear track immediately in front of him, he's got somebody to chase and just gauge and judge. And yeah, this is going to be. I don't think Josh Waters is able to go much quicker than Howie Mainwaring's pace at the minute. I think he's going to have to do something a bit more special to get past Howie than he has done to get past everybody else in the race. And pretty much he has passed everybody in this race, as Josh Waters, at some point.
So Howie Mainwaring smart, who now lives at Aylesford, just up the road near Maidstone, leads the man from Mildura, who's looking forward to getting back to Australia in 2.5 weeks' time, where the temperature is about 37 degrees in his hometown.
Just watch where Josh Waters is better than anybody else, and a little bit even better than Howie Mainwaring, who's brilliant at the minute. Josh Waters is really good, going from mid-corner, maximum lean in the conditions, and getting the power on smoothly, and having the bike push forward and not kick out. And it's so difficult to do. Your brain tells you, get the throttle up and get it driving, and one extra horsepower, bang, the back kicks out, you have to close the throttle, and you're going nowhere. And Josh is so good at just coaxing it out of the corners. look.
Now Waters would go on to pole position as he goes for the front. He tries to get underneath going into Surtees. He's just too late. Howie Mainwaring is able to just cut across and take the apex. Up the hill. Now the massive drop. Pilgrim's drop up Hawthorne Hill into the rapid right-hander at the top into Hawthorne's. He's not close enough to launch an attack now. We're on the penultimate lap. 17 of 18. What a great race these guys have put on. John Kirkham in third place. We've got Jenny Tinmouth ahead. They've got back markers to deal with.
Sorry, Jack, trying to speak there. They've got back markers to deal with as well. They're going to have these back markers. You look a long way in front, but the pace that these two are setting, the back part of the course, and it is Jenny who's next up for the kind of chop here. Howie Mainwaring is so quick round the back, and then it's Josh Waters who seems to have the pace on the wetter kind of more indie circuit coming down into Clearways and Clarks now.
So into the final lap, almost. Howie Mainwaring smart. Josh Waters in a battle for supremacy here in the first of 3 races at Brands Hatch, the final round of the year. And Josh is going to have to go some to get through here. We've got Jed Metcher and Jenny Tinmouth just in front of them. So the Australian on the PR Kawasaki, the bright blue Kawasaki, and then the black Honda of Jenny Tinmouth have to be dealt with.
I think that Howie Mainwaring is doing just enough to stay in front. I just knew that he was having got a pace such that it wasn't going to be easy for Josh Waters. It wasn't considerably quicker anyway. Back markers are going to play a part here. Blue flag's waving, which means they're getting out of the way. That's because of the blue flags, you see.
Jenny looks over her shoulder and thinks, well, that's it. I've done my bit. I'm gonna get past Jed if I can now.
I think from what I've seen now, Howie Mainwaring is definitely better than Josh a little bit on this kind of far end of the course. And I think it's going to be just enough for him. But he's going to try. He's Josh.
Now he's closer here than he's been in the last couple of laps, so it depends whether he can live with Mainwaring smart, whether he can live with the Cheshiremen as they go round this far side out into the country of the Grand Prix second. Look how fast Mainwaring smart is round Westfield.
And that's Westfield's going to win it. He did that last couple of laps. He's quick here as well. I don't think Josh Waters has got enough here. He's going to set something up into Sterling's, I think.
He's going through a wide line, and he's going to try and tuck it in, get that late apex, get the drive. Oh, what a line he got through Sterling's.
Howie was wide. Howie was really wide.
Well wide. But Howie's managed to hold on to it as they come out of Clearways into the Clark curve. This is the final lap. Here comes Waters on the inside. Howie leads on him, neck and neck towards the flag. A big moment for Waters, and it's Mainwaring smart who takes his debut win on his new home soil here at Brands Hatch. Howie Mainwaring smart wins it for Quattro Plant Kawasaki to celebrate the birth of Pete Exton's granddaughter just a couple of weeks ago. John Kirkham third, Linfoot fourth, Bridewell fifth. Stuart Easton there just snatches the 6th place from Ellison. Josh Brooks next ahead of James Westmoreland.
What a brilliant last lap. Josh Waters wanted that. He turned it tight coming out of Clearways. Howie Mainwaring knew he was there, kept it running round the outside. Brilliant stuff.
Mainwaring, but would you believe it?
No, you wouldn't believe it.
The genial Cheshire lad has won a British Superbike race, and Josh Waters, well, every time it gets remotely sketchy, this Australian turns into a dirt track genius. Marvellous. And of course, Howie Mainwaring smart, remember, was the British 60cc Auto Junior Motocross champion way back in the day, so he doesn't mind this stuff. But Pete Exton's can't quite believe it. His little family-run Bournemouth Kawasaki team has only gone and won.
Yeah, his technician's a guy called Zippy Machin, who I've seen win many 250 races in just these conditions, just to love him himself, did Zippy.
And Big Jack Valentine, this is how it crossed the line. This is a
finish, yeah, and you see how he may when he chopped to the inside just to give himself a little bit better chance at the line. Meanwhile, going a bit quick as Waters. What a brilliant finish, Jack.
Big Jack Valentine, of course, was celebrating as he gave Pete Exton a hug. That was like being hugged by a bear, wasn't it, for little Pete? It's because John Kirkham came home third in the Wholesale Biker Gear Kawasaki camp. So wonderful, unexpected top three.
Brilliant, yeah.
Dan Linfoot, the leading man in 4th place amongst the showdown challengers, won't have done enough to overhaul Tommy Bridewell, who finished in 5th place. But Josh Brooks only finished 8th for 8 points, so his position, I think he will have lost that 3rd place in the championship, at least to Tommy Bridewell.
Yeah, that battle for 3rd is closing right up between the 3 of them now.
Chris Walker rounded out the top 10. Mason, Wilson, Hickman, Smertz and Da Costa all scored points. But for Howie...
I'll guarantee nobody in the paddock will begrudge Howie that win. He rode for it. He had to stay on the bike, had a load of slides last lap just on a stay in front of Josh Waters, as did Josh coming out of clearways. What cost it Josh is he did get the back lit up coming out of clearways. Just tried that little bit harder to get under Howie. Yeah. It lit up. He's got to close the throttle, get it back in line, then go again. And that's cost him probably a tenth of a second.
Oh, look at all the people coming across.
There's Nick Morgan from MSS. He tunes the bike and he'll be as pleased as anybody. In fact, Howie's ridden for the MSS Kawasaki squad when they ran, so he'll know Nick really well.
Big Danny Buchan there, who's already sealed the National Superstock 1000 Championship. And this is a popular victory, you may have gathered.
You will not get anybody in the paddock who begrudges somebody who's rode that hard and stayed on the bike in these conditions, and it's his first win. He's a popular lad anyway, he's a nice lad.
Wow, so Josh Waters already in there in the Park Fairway, taking off his helmet, getting congratulated by his Taiko Suzuki squad. Race Brands Hatch, I thought that was race 1, I must admit. Howie Main wearing smart Quattro Plant Kawasaki by 0.047 of a second from Josh Waters' Taiko Suzuki. John Kirkham, Halsell Biker Gear Kawasaki, gets the better of a slithering Dan Linfoot on the second last lap to take 3rd place. Tommy Bridewell hangs on to 5th. Stuart Easton grabs 6th just from a recovering James Ellison. Josh Brooks in 8th place ahead of James Westmoreland and Chris Walker. 11th place for Gary Mason on the Qingdao WK Kawasaki, ahead of Ben Wilson. A good ride for the Lincolnshireman on the Gearlink Kawasaki. Peter Hickman finishes 13th ahead of Jakob Smertz. Kuba comes back with points, and Julian Da Costa gets the last point for Honda Racing. And the rest of the guys completing that arduous race. Robin Harms, Brian Starring and Jed Metcher, all returnees or newcomers, of course, ahead of Jenny Tinmouth and Christophe Ponson. The championship standings with 2 races left will remain absolutely static at the top. 24 out of 26 races, still a 12-point gap between Shaky Byrne and Yuichi Kianari. Tommy Bridewell does move into 3rd place by 1 point ahead of his teammate Josh Brooks, who is now 1 point ahead of Dan Linfoot and Quattro Plant Kawasaki. Chris Walker in 6th place. Stuart Easton leading the charge in 7th by reasonably comfortable. Although, having said that, Josh Waters has closed that gap a bit. Peter Hickman, John Kirkham now up into 12th place. James Westmoreland is 13th ahead of Smertz, Cooper. Howie Main wearing smart, now up to 16th after that race win.
Wow, incredible stuff. Forget all about the War for 4 for now. What a fantastic race 1 we've had here at Brands Hatch. We'll be hearing from Howie Main wearing smart, John Kirkham and Josh Waters when we come back after the break. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where Howie Main wearing smart is celebrating a stunning victory in race 1 here on this final weekend triple header. The War for 4 is on, but that will have to wait until tomorrow. For now, on the podium here is John Kirkham in 3rd place. John, congratulations. You narrowly missed out on a front row start earlier on today, but you're more than made up for that now.
Yeah, I was 3rd in the dry until literally the last couple of seconds of qualifying, and Josh Brooks pipped me. And I was looking forward to a dry race, to be fair, and then obviously it rained just before that one. But just happy to get the house with Kawasaki on the podium. We've had a real torrid time in the last 3 rounds. We've took a pole at Assen, which was good, but we've just struggled in the races. And we've literally changed a brake part this weekend, and it's just made all the difference. But we jumped on the bike at round 5, so we've been playing catch up ever since. But yeah, really happy. Just thanks to all my sponsors for sticking by me, and thanks to Martin, the team owner, and Jack Valentine, and all my boys. We've got 3 Italian lads that come over from Italy and work real hard every weekend. So just it's all for them, really. It's all for the team, and it's a long time coming for me as well. I've not been on the podium since 2012.
Full credit to you as well. Well done, John.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
And second in that race, we're normally used to seeing him on the top step in the wet, but Josh Waters, another fabulous performance from you in the wet conditions here, but just missed out there to Howie in the last turn.
Yeah, it was really close that last turn. I thought I was going to get him, and then I started to slide, and he was a bit slower and out wide, and he got a good run, so congrats to him. Huge thank you to my team, Taiko Suzuki. I had an off in qualifying, so I was quite far back on the grid, and yeah, it was great to finish on the podium.
Thanks, Josh. Well done.
Thank you very much.
And victorious then in race 1 here. Howie Main wearing smart. A stunning victory for him, and he's just going to join us now, but he's grabbing his daughter to bring her up with him as well. And well, he might do. What a fantastic day for the whole family, Howie, to celebrate the victory here. Tell us about how you're feeling right now and about that final corner battle with Josh.
To be honest, I'm pretty emotional right now. It's been a long time coming, and we've had such a difficult year with the shoulder hanging off and being bolted back together, and a few issues with the engine and trying to get everything right. But the team have done a massively good job, and my sponsor, Walker Signs, have stuck by us through thick and thin. And to bring this back home today for the family, team, friends, and that, it's been amazing. So, yeah, I've got to thank the lads on my side of the garage. They've done such a good job this weekend of pulling them back together and making it feel like my own for the first time this year. So it's good.
Enjoy the podium. Well done, Howie.
Yeah, mate, thank you.
So the title battle waits until tomorrow for the British Superbikes. Then we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, Billy McConnell gets his first chance to wrap things up in the Supersports.